Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Jacksonville Buzz. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. And joining me in the studio today is Dr. Steve Barsky, who's a psychotherapist who works with individuals, couples, and families. Welcome, Dr. Barsky.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about Dr. Steve.
Well, I have a doctorate in clinical psychology. I'm a licensed marital and family therapist. I've been in practice 45 years, and I've seen a lot of patients over the years, thousands actually, and I love doing psychotherapy. I feel very passionate about it. I think that therapy is an amazing treatment. If done right and with the cooperation of the patient, I think they can make a lot of progress in subtle things that they didn't think of so much. A lot of times people, it's very common to hear that people say, well, everyone has issues. And it's true, everyone does have issues. But why is that? We all have issues. We all come from families. We all have parents. Parents have issues. It's not purposeful, but a lot of times patients, when they're young, when a child is young, very sensitive to the nuances of the parents. It could be an empathic break, a comment. It could be an attitude. And children, we all do adopt a narrative from that. Our self-esteem is very affected. And we believe that narrative, and that it's all from the unconscious. We like to think that we're in charge of our thoughts and our behaviors and our choices, and it's not true. Really, it's the unconscious that dictates quite a bit, and we're not aware of it. So apart from promoting my own practice, I feel that I'm a whistleblower, that there's a deep state in all of us, the unconscious. and I want to alert everybody that's going on. So many of my patients have self-esteem issues or have an idea about themselves or a distortion of how they see other people, and they're not aware of it. They believe what they're seeing, but so much of it is dictated by their upbringing.
Right. Now you offer three specialities. Can you break those down for me?
Well, the specialties are long-term individual psychotherapy with adults, therapy with children. I also evaluate and treat people with Asperger syndrome, which is a little more unusual, and couples therapy.
I think you mentioned Asperger's syndrome. Is this a new disease?
No, it's not. It's been around forever. It's a neurological disorder. It's a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's part and parcel. It's on the spectrum of autism, but as everybody is getting more savvy with information and so forth, and checklists on the internet, it's easier to spot. So we're seeing quite a bit more of it. But I don't think it's any different than it's ever been. It's just we're more aware of the illness and of the symptoms.
Yes, I must admit that when I was a child, that I don't remember any of these A diseases or problems or children that were slightly unusual, and yet now it seems to be commonplace.
Well, in growing up, I know that there were the children who were the nerds, who were the weird children in a way, who were not very popular, and the Asperger people are very, very interesting, very nice. Probably if you go to Silicon Valley, half the computer operators have Asperger's.
Most of them are.
I hope I'm not saying anything wrong, but I think it's fair to say that, like anything, people go into professions where they have their strong suits.
Sure.
They're very analytical, very good with computers, and that sort of thing.
Now, you have psychodynamic therapy,
Yeah.
and I know that that's something that perhaps a lot of people don't know about.
Right.
Can you briefly touch on that? Because I know that we're going to run out of time, and
Sure.
I want people to know how to get hold of you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Psychodynamic therapy is an offshoot of psychoanalytic psychotherapy or psychoanalysis. Psychodynamic therapy believe in the unconscious. If we had to say it in a pithy way, if there isn't one thing, it's a mother. Then you have to look a little farther. But in the end,
okay.
In the end, it's the traumas are spilled milk. Society says you can't cry over spilled milk, but therapy says you have to. Psychodynamic therapy believes that there's internal forces in us that make us either defensive or that we have unacceptable impulses or wishes that we struggle with. And the psychodynamic therapist simply has the patient come in and say their thoughts and not censor them. Just as if you're on a train and you're just reporting, I see the track, I just saw a bird go by, whatever it is.
Right.
But the mind will lead the therapist to what are the conflicts, where do they stem from? And that we have a few tools in our toolbox, I guess, being empathic, being supportive, being reassuring, but also very importantly, interpreting, making an interpretation of what's happening.
Now, how can people find you? I'm sure there's going to be some of the audience saying, I think I need to see this gentleman. How do they find you?
Just call me. I would say 904-629-7132.
Dr. Barsky, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
You know, we could sit here and talk forever, but unfortunately, we're running out of time. So thank you for coming into the studio. And don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information about Dr. Barsky or psychotherapy, you can also find it on iwannabuzz.com.